my mom is gonna watch this.
This is a very special episode. This one's for me and Alexi, but really it's for Coral. To clear her good name, she's been dragged through the mud, frankly, on this podcast, and so she's kind of here to give it back a little bit to Alexi, and really Matt and I are here just as an audience for that, but also Matt, my childhood best friend. He has a pristine memory, probably because he stopped drinking after the second time we ever drank. And so his memory is really good, and he's also a great storyteller. So we're going to talk about what punk asses we were, because we kind of were punk asses.
Yeah, I don't know how far you want to get into the punk acidness of our youth.
I'm okay with people knowing I was a little bit of a trash teenager. So are you a little bit.
Oh, yeah. No, I can't deny that.
Yeah, we were kind of like we weren't hoodlums. We wouldn't mug you, but I did see you, walk by a woman and burp in her face.
I knew you were going to bring that up.
Look at her.
I'm not the worst one.
No. Our goal was to be dicks.
Yeah. Okay. I have a way I describe it to people now, because I don't like these stories.
But you're reformed. You're one of the nicest guys I know and have been for a while.
Yeah. Well, I think I started nice at grade 8. I was nice, and then by the time we got to grade 10, I think I was a fully bad kid.
Yeah, we were just I remember we were getting on a bus and there was an old lady and we budged in front of her just to be mean. We would do stuff
oh, no.
just to be. I know. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's terrible.
I know. We were just. It's you're testing the waters.
Not funny, Kevin.
You're testing the waters to see what kind of guy you are.
Yeah.
And then you start to realize that no one likes you, and you're like, oh, okay, got to back that off. And then I think we both realized no, we're actually good guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you back off on that behavior. But I think when we realized this when we went to summer school, and we're like, oh, these guys are pieces of shit.
Yeah.
We're not actually we were testing it. That guy's a bad person.
I think what I always describe it as to people is that I was an art school bully.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. We went to an art school together. Yeah. Went grade 1 to 12.
So how bad can you be?
Yeah, you can't really.
Yeah.
It's not real life bad. It's some other it's your interpretation of being bad.
Oh man, can I just tell you one of the funniest things? Still, this is when Matt was super edgy when we were in 8th grade. He's super into smelling really good, so he always had cologne and deodorant in his cargo pocket.
Oh,
I
remember exactly the type of person you were.
No, I like.
We're all like it. Okay,
no, but that's a cool thing for a 13-year-old boy to be into is hygiene, right?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So
Could be worse.
Hair gel. You always had hair gel with you, and so I remember in his humanities class, you were putting deodorant on in class, and the teacher was like, Matt, and you went, ooh, and just kept doing it. Ooh, pretended to cry.
Well, you said I have a pristine memory. It's I think the two of us fill out the whole spectrum, because that's one that I've forgotten about.
That was good. That was I was like, oh, that's badass. I gotta do some stuff like that.
Badass.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Art school bully.
That's awesome.
We kind of were.
I love it. We also, you were saying too, where when you guys get together, your memories sort of create an entire sphere, real life 3D memory.
Oh.
Same with us. When we get together, I feel like we just write history. Yeah. we figure it all out. We put all the pieces back together.
Now I'm feeling bad. Just their reactions. I was like, oh fuck, that was bad.
You started heavy. You started real heavy.
I did start heavy. It's funny because I thought it didn't go the way I thought. I was like, oh, I'll tell this, and they'll be like, oh, you rapscallions, and they're both like, Jesus. But I think that's the worst thing we did, though. Were those things. I also remember our friends would shoplift, and we would just be like, yeah, but we wouldn't do it. You and I would never do something like that. Okay.
Transition.
Okay.
We were the ones.
There you go.
We were the ones that did that.
All right.
Okay, all right.
I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Go on. What did you steal?
Oh man, I mean, I feel like I was maybe a bit more into it too. Oh no, I was along for the ride.
Yeah?
I was do it.
You were benefiting from her
I feel like sometimes
100% criminality.
I feel like sometimes time she was an unwilling participant, especially towards the end. She was
Yeah.
like, I don't know if we should be doing this, guys. And meanwhile, I was like running a ring.
Oh,
Cry
Lex.
for help. Guys, I really don't think so.
Big items, man. Sometimes.
Really? Like what?
A paintball gun.
Holy shit, dude. Wow. From where? The camouflage store on Granville Street? Surprised I didn't shoot you in the head.
I feel like I shouldn't say
Headshot.
where, just because I feel like if I say where, they might come
It's a
after
store.
me. Yeah, it's a store.
Yeah,
but-
those aren't the people you want, like, looking for you.
No,
They have
but
great aim.
that was the beginning of the end, though, for me. Because then my friends saw that I had done that, and they wanted to recreate that crime, and they almost got caught. Almost. Like, got followed around the store. They ditched their bag last minute. And it was the beginning of the end after that, because, I don't know, we were all getting too freaked out. And then my mom found my phone, and I got caught by my mom. And she made me return everything.
Are you
wow.
serious?
You learned your lesson. That's a nice ending, actually.
See, you guys were testing out, are we pieces of shit? And then you found out you're not. That's like the things we did. So quit acting so fucking horrified at the things we did.
Actually, yeah, Kev, I don't know if you remember, but there was a point in time where I was a little Steeler boy as well.
I don't remember that.
I stole a pack of pantyhose from IGA.
Oh, yeah, I do. You were just trying it.
The idea was, what's the stupidest thing I could steal,
That's right.
And
I
so I
mean-
stole a pack of pantyhose.
We really were the joke above all other things. Like, we were like obsessed with Tom Green, and we were like, it was like, no, like being ridiculous is more important than like we would both sit on a bus together facing some like elderly man, and we both just stare past him and just drool and just let him
my
be uncomfortable. Like we just do like remember that?
It was a hobby of ours.
Yeah, like just like making people be like, what the fuck?
I'm trying to like think of if we did anything like that. Do you remember anything?
I mean, your hairstyles, I would have to say.
Yeah.
That the first one I think was in grade 4 when you tried to. Do you know the show My Dad's a Rock Star?
My
No.
dad's Rockstar. It was like
What's that?
I feel like it was supposed to be like I don't know, like Gene Simmons. Or
Basically,
something?
yeah, it was like
and-
Gene Simmons.
and like his kids, and there was supposed to be like an older daughter, and she was super cool, super punk, and she like shaved the back of her head. So I'm like, I'm gonna do that too. But you saw the photos of me when
Oh,
I
I
was
love
age.
that, yeah.
I was pretty fat. Didn't look good. I got my dad to do it
Yeah.
too.
Cool.
Like
It was shaved here, but then long parts right here.
Yeah.
And so, like, people were actually, like, following us, laughing at her. No. I felt so bad. I was like, I know it looks like shit, but she's my best friend. Like, you can't say
stuck by her.
that.
You stuck by her. That's a good friend.
Loyalty.
I didn't even like know that they were laughing at me because it looked stupid. I thought I was so like in my world. I'm like, it looks really cool, and they know it. They're following me around so they can see it better.
Yeah. Well, you shopped at the men's section, too, at that point.
I did.
So you...
I used to wear
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
But I like
definitely have their ideas.
Alexi, you've always had that spirit though. It's like if something's cool to you, you're just gonna do it. And I like that. Like I like when you came in here the other day and you were wearing a shirt that's like a Simpsons parody, and you're like, "Is this racist?"
Oh yeah. It was Bart Simpson, and he had a bunch of like very stereotypical like South American, like Mexican, like he was wearing a sombrero and like saying like "ay caramba" and
He's on
like all
vacation.
this stuff. And I was like, is this like I don't know anymore.
It's fine. It's vintage.
Yeah. He's Alberto, so
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, it goes along with that.
Bart was culturally appropriating before anybody.
Exactly.
What a trendsetter.
Very true.
Actually, I have a Beavis and Butthead that's Jamaican.
Okay.
We should have worn
Coral.
them. Oh my god.
Yeah, you guys.
We need to
Yes.
coordinate this next time.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to know. So the paintball gun was at the height of your crimes, Coral? Tell me.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like the highest like price tag I would say, but the amount that she took was unbelievable.
Well, go into it. Let's detail this.
So she would have like a bag, a big purse, and she had this method of where the cameras weren't. She would sneak it into her bag. So she'd grab a bunch of stuff and then slowly just like start putting it into her bag, rounding the corners.
What's up, Ocean's 11? Jesus.
I know.
This is well planned. Calculated.
Yeah.
And we used to coordinate it too, where we would know like when the shift changes would happen. So
Holy
Holy
shit.
Jesus.
So we would go
A
in.
lot more than pantyhose.
And we would have, so it was like there was more than one, there was like I think maybe 4 of us, and one person would go and hang
Yeah.
out behind like the bushes, and like they would store the bags, and we would go fill up the bags, then go out, dump them out with the person, wait for the shift change our outfits with the clothes that we
my
would take from our
Fucking-
store. then we would go back in after the shift change and, fill up the bag again. My mom was going to watch this.
You got caught anyways.
I don't think she knew it was to that extent.
That'd be funny if she made you return it now.
I think I still have stuff from
You
that.
should just
Sorry,
go drop
Taryn.
off a check to them, like, sorry.
Yes.
I really took advantage of your
open
poor
up
security
like a-
system when I was a teenager.
Oh man,
That's great.
It was definitely a time I'm not that person anymore. I remember one time a few years later I tried again and I put it back.
Huh?
I put the one thing back. I was like, this
Is it the rush? Like, what were you taking stuff you really wanted, or it must if you realize that you can just take stuff and you're fine with that, it must open up a whole new world to like, oh, I can like have anything.
Yeah.
It was really that. It was very much that.
Yeah.
I was not.
It's like when you first got pirating software and you're like, I could have anything for free,
yeah.
but in the real world, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, Alexi, I just keep finding out more and more things about your past. I love this. Coral, go on.
Yeah.
Well, there was that one time. I'm not gonna
I'm actually down for this expose.
so I'm not gonna name the place, but we were like really drunk. Do you remember that one time we went downtown? And like we're there we go.
It's already good.
These can't all be stealing things, but tell it.
Yeah, so we were downtown, we're drunk, we're like, let's go out, but it's like a Sunday night, so nowhere's open whatsoever.
We're
like,
sky training out from Queensboro at like midnight.
yeah, I don't know what the plan was, but we decided to go like to a bunch of like fast food places and eat a bunch of food.
Hell yeah.
And this one, he knew we were drunk and was like rolling his eyes at us, like he didn't want to help us. We're like, fuck this. So she goes up to the counter, and you'll know the restaurant as I say this, she took there's like chip bags there.
I don't know which one that is.
No. And so
Really?
we're just standing there, and then all of a sudden she just takes them and runs out, leaves me there, and I'm
It's like the thing about Alexi is she was so successful because of her, in-depth strategy.
Why plan it out when I can just grab all the chips and run as fast as I can?
yeah.
Free chips.
I didn't know where she went because I was like,
You're still
oh my
ordering?
God, I'm
She was
still
like,
there. The
throw
guy
under the
looks
bus?
at me like, what? And I was like, and I just booked it. I was like, what in the world? And I had to like find you on the street, and then we ate chips in a parking lot. So
Well, I like the end of that
great.
story.
yeah, no, it was a good stack.
Oh yeah.
See, we would do
boy.
things that were like less damaging to organizations and more just annoying. Like, do you remember how we would do this thing? We'd have a sleepover, and you would do these great prank calls. You'd be like, he'd call one number and be like, and then it'd be in the middle of the night, so it'd be a message, and he'd be like, hey, Bobby, it's Bobby. What happened today? I thought I was going to see you at the park. My phone number is 604, blah, 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 blah. And then he'd call that number and be like, Bobby, it's Bobby. Where were you? Blah, blah, blah. And then just like it was like when Fight Club organized Project Mayhem, but like
God.
by just confusing people.
Oh my God.
So we'd spend the whole nights doing that and just being like, this is amazing. Like, we're so bad.
Star 69.
Yeah, there you go.
It backfired. We got in trouble.
Yeah,
Remember, because we did it at our friend James' place, and his dad called our parents and was like, your kids are so annoying. Like, I had so many people calling me calling back, being like, your kids left like the most disgusting message.
Yeah, we never did it at our house.
yeah.
Only at other people's house. You're emboldened to be extra stupid.
Yeah. But it's funny, like, our brushes with just be like petty vandalism. Like, we'd be like, oh yeah, this weekend we're gonna go to Kurt's because he lives next to a French immersion elementary school. We're gonna sneak out in the middle of the night, break all the windows, go back home, go to bed. And it was like,
God.
and we did it, and then we were like, yeah. And then we did it like another week later, and then
Oh, you can't say it. Never mind.
we did it like twice, and then I remember the second time we did it, and like the rush was gone, so we just like did it, and then just like walked back, didn't even run that time.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no one's coming to get us.
yeah.
Oh my God. I remember actually, I can't remember if you were there or if it was Sammy that was there, but we broke into an elementary school one time too.
No, that was me.
You were there?
Yeah.
We used to hang out with Coral and then her older sister, and like
Okay.
we
Yeah.
did a lot of crimes. She's gonna hate that too.
Just a bad influence. I hope Sammy doesn't watch this, but I guess they left like the door open there, and then we like snuck into the classroom and like took people's notebooks and like wrote things on.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's good.
That's a good one.
It's pretty fun. I don't
That's
remember
confusing
exactly what
for them.
we wrote though.
I can't remember because I remember that you guys did that, and then I went over to the like teacher's cabinet and they had candy in there. So I took the candy.
Oh my God.
whales. I remember the
Oh,
big blue whales.
that's
You
good.
You can't hide these blue whales
Nope.
No.
and not expect
You
much
get
of
arrested,
They
but your
sucked 'em
mouth
out.
is all blue. They're like, we know what you did.
What?
What? Nothing. I wouldn't steal anything. Wow. Yeah, we were kind of like that. Like that was kind of the end of us. Like, I think. Did we destroy anything else? I
It
can't.
coincided with us first started drinking. It was,
Yeah.
it was one and the same.
Well, what's funny is that the first time we ever drank, which was, I think we were 13, we sat in our friend's tent in his front yard, and we all passed around a big bottle of Growers. And then we were like, I don't think it's working. And then we stood up and we're like, whoa! And then we just like walked on cars in the neighborhood, like just like stomped on them.
my God.
And then we're like, this is fucking awesome. We're so cool. Like, and then we did it
so cool.
the next weekend, but it was moonshine.
Yeah.
And then you
Oh,
never
right.
drank again. He
was
still
it.
hasn't,
Yeah,
right?
Not since the moonshine, yeah. Not a drop. Not even a drop.
That makes sense though.
Yeah,
He was throwing up black
moonshine.
stuff.
Yeah, it was black vomit. But it started so innocently. You and me sitting cross-legged in a tent sharing a 2 liter of coolers. And think, I don't think it's working, man.
Yeah.
To date, we maybe got drunk like 5 or 6 times total for me. And that was
Yeah.
the funnest time ever, was the very first time
Yeah.
of coolers with Kevin in the tent. And
Absolutely.
we stole a fire extinguischer from the school.
Oh, yeah.
And sprayed it in the empty field.
We sprayed our friend with it. We sprayed James with it. He was like, "Oh!" Like, I can't remember who. I think Kurt did it too. Of course, everyone with a friend named Kurt sprayed someone with a fire extinguisher.
Oh yeah.
And the party was always at Kurt's. Also,
Yeah.
Our friend Kurt, his mom was. She like loved when he and his friends would get drunk, even though we were like 13. And she just like beat us up. Remember? She came in. She's like, "Who wants the cop hold?" And she would like put your arm behind your back and like pin you. Like, yeah, you like that? Yeah, she'd like take advantage of that our vulnerability to like try her like MMA shit on us, I guess.
That's nuts.
Yeah, like my mom was very much like she would hate to know that one of my friends' mom was like, yeah, come drink at my place. Like
Yeah,
my
mine
mom
too,
was,
mine too.
yeah,
Same,
our moms were
yeah.
like strict with that stuff.
My mom bought us
Oh,
alcohol.
There's always got to be one parent. It doesn't happen without the parent.
Well, she always wanted us to, like, if she was gonna buy us drinks, she wanted us to drink like at
Okay,
her
fair.
house. So it was fair.
Yeah.
But I remember one time she bought us Growers, but it was the type that was like the 0.2%, like the de-alcoholized version that you buy from like
Nice
the
trick.
grocery store.
Yeah,
good
nice
prank.
trick.
And we were walking down the street, remember, and we're like, we're so drunk, like, whoa, not knowing that there's like no alcohol in there.
Placebo effect.
I think the first time I drank was like cooking vodka, and I was like, I'm wasted right
Oh
now.
my God.
Do you remember that time though at my house when we tried to make a drink? Yeah. So when we thought like drinking alcohol, we thought you mix everything together, right? And so
Oh, no.
the worst idea ever. So I went into my parents' like cabinet, and there was like brandy, like vodka, whiskey, just everything you name it. We put it all into this one cup. Thinking, yeah, this is gonna be great. We're gonna get so wasted.
Yeah.
As we're about to drink it, my mom comes home, and I'm like, oh my God. And so like I run, but then Alexi's still there in the cupboard, and my mom comes in, and she's like, what are you guys doing? And I'm like, we're just drinking Pepsi. She's like, doesn't smell like Pepsi.
Yeah, it smells like rubbing alcohol.
Yeah, it just smelled like straight alcohol. I got grounded for the summer. You weren't allowed to come over, but
Alexi's a bad influence.
That was a bad day. I think I like left right after that too, and I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh no.
You're such a bad influence,
no,
Alexi.
I kind of blamed it on her too by accident.
That's a
Like
good move.
she's like, whose idea was this?
Alexi's?
Alexi.
Who else?
Yeah.
I was a bad influence.
It's funny though, cause like we started off like in like 9th grade, I think, being like punk asses, and then I think it was summer school. We were like, oh, this isn't the life for us.
No.
And then we became pretty tame as teenagers.
Good boys.
And we started playing guitar.
Yeah.
And then that really was like, okay, Friday and Saturday nights while everyone else was getting wasted, we were straight edge.
Yeah.
And we just practiced scales and stuff on our guitar.
Oh, that's fun,
And like you got really into like, because Matt still like professionally makes video game music for these like cool indie projects and stuff. And it's cool, like that's what he started doing back then. And I would just like practice bass, and like we just became like the tamest teenagers in a way. Like we tried the life, realized it wasn't for us,
No.
and then started working on our careers at 15 or something. And it worked out for us.
Yeah,
So-
we didn't really have a lot of opportunity to be hard, you know, like
Well,
we
when you go
lived
to
in
an art
suburbs,
school,
yeah, and go to art school,
Yeah.
we got as hard as you could get.
Yeah. Like it's funny too. Like that school was just. We went to a Langley Fine Arts School, and it really had great opportunities. I just didn't appreciate at the time.
Yeah.
I just couldn't care. When you're that young, and it's like, no, practice painting and drawing 8 hours a day. It's like, no.
Yeah.
I know, and that's the sad thing too. We like can't appreciate it. Like, oh, I would have killed to go to a school like that. But
Yeah.
even if I did, I probably would have been like, this sucks.
You would have stole all the paint, probably.
Probably.
Yeah. It was funny though because we were in visual art. Like you had to pick a major, and we both picked visual art. And we were just talking about this. There's like you have to spend like so much money on supplies every year to learn all the different mediums. And Matt insisted on drawing everything with a ballpoint pen.
Bic.
And he got very good with it. But the teachers would be like, Matt, you can't just. And also he'd make everything look like a Cannibal Corpse album cover. Like it would be so gory, and they'd be like, I mean, at a certain point, they just couldn't really argue with you. They're like, all right, fine, draw gory shit with a ballpoint pen while we all draw this squash. Like,
How much blood could be on this?
yeah,
much
like
blood is in
he
the
literally would
squash?
do that. He literally would do that, and then I'd just draw like the members of Korn or something, and they're like, at a certain point, they just kind of like gave up on us.
I do remember you and I wanted to make a comic book at one point because that was
oh,
the
yeah.
dream of all boys in the 90s.
Yeah.
Was to be a comic book artist. Actually, maybe all kids in the 90s. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I remember we wanted to call it Night Parade.
Night Parade. Oh my God.
Yeah,
see?
we
You
wanted to do a
remember
zombie
that?
one.
That's a great name. Steve.
Yeah, I know. And you know what's so funny is all our outlandish ideas that later I was like, maybe that's stupid, happened. Like the movie Cabin in the Woods. You and I had that idea. We fucking had that idea where it's every monster in the same movie. And it's, people be like, that's dumb. Happened. Joss Whedon did it. We had that idea.
Stole it straight from you.
Night Parade ended up being Walking Dead. We had that idea.
Oh man.
I'm pissed.
I do believe.
Look at my waveform.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Impressive.
Remember, we wanted
This
to
is all you
have
need to see.
an airplane full of convicts.
Oh, yeah.
In a like quarantine zombie area.
That's
So
still a good idea.
They were all bad guys, but now they're surrounded by zombies, and they have to be bad guys, but with zombies there. Night Parade.
Damn it.
That's
It's,
so brilliant.
we had good ideas, we just didn't have the focus.
Yeah.
We got the focus later. Why couldn't we have had it? I think it's because school was so draining. Like I hated it. I hated high school.
Yeah.
Like it's funny. Like a lot of people like look back fondly on it. I was bad at it. Like I was like I barely passed
Yeah.
high school. Like luckily, like I had this guidance counselor who's like, he's fine. Just let him go. Like what do you want this idiot here again next year? Like we also kind of got like polite. Like I don't know, but I can't remember if it happened for you, but we changed high schools at a certain point. Like I got politely asked to leave.
Oh,
They're
damn.
like-
Tell me about that.
Yeah, like I was just being such an annoying person in class, and I just didn't want to do any of the projects that they had a meeting with my mom, where they're kind of like politely like, he should probably just go to like a public school. Like he's not, he's talented at this, but he's not taking advantage of it. So then we went to a different high school and made a whole new collection of a-hole friends.
Dude, do you remember? That was the summer we were working at P&E.
Oh
right?
yeah,
And so-
we worked at P&E in the kids zone. This is good.
Right. Okay. Well, I guess we got to explain the kids zone. Right?
Yeah.
That was 2 summers in a row we worked at P&E. First 8-hour job I ever had in my life.
Yeah.
And you know, you gain a newfound respect for your parents when you're like, I have to stand here for 8 hours. Like,
Yeah.
Oh my god.
What is this?
And everyone's mad at you.
Yeah.
And it's so hot. Dude, we have so many stories from there.
Yeah. Just
Like we worked on this thing called the Euro bungee, and it was this thing where you put a harness on a person and then strap it to these cables, and there's an inflatable mattress, and then you tighten the cables and then they bounce, right?
Oh,
But
yeah.
every once in a while you get fucking Evil Knievel coming in trying to like do flips and stuff, and they get caught in these cables up here and like almost kill themselves.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and also Kid Zone.
it's worse. It's so much
Kid
worse.
Zone, your ride stamp doesn't count, but there's always a super long lineup, so people would wait for an hour and get up to us and be like, doesn't count. You got to go get tickets.
We had no mercy. Like,
I know.
Doesn't count. Get.
I know. We
get
were
back.
those guys who were like, sorry, and they'd be yelling at us, be like, next, next.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I remember we made friends with this guy Victor. Do you remember him?
Yeah, Victor at the arcade.
He had like his job was like he just had like a broom and a dustpan, and he'd just come hang out with us and just sweep nothing and just talk to us.
Oh yeah, that's right. He didn't actually work.
He didn't do a damn thing.
The whole time.
He'd just be like, yeah, cool. Yeah, Nine Inch Nails is a good band. Yeah, yeah. Like,
that's so fun.
yeah.
I can imagine there'd be a lot of people on that ride that would like piss themselves that you'd have to clean up. No?
Not that ride.
No?
The bouncy castle.
Bouncy Castle.
Oh, really?
It got to a point where I had to start asking parents, is your kid wearing a diaper?
Oh my god. Yeah.
and that even still feels wrong. Now that I have a kid, I know I'd be like,
It's offended. I remember
Slightly offended.
this.
Right?
Dude, the one time a kid went in there pissed all over the place, and then you handed their parent the cleaning supplies, and you're like, have fun.
no mercy.
And then the dad was like, well, I think you should do it. And then you're like, I disagree. And then the guy looked at someone else in line and was like, I shouldn't have to do this, right? And they were like, yeah, you should. And he was like, ugh. Remember, he looked to other
He
parents.
looked to other parents, and they're like, no, that's your job.
Yeah.
But then as he turned around, all the pee had evaporated. It was that hot. He's like,
Oh my god.
no, this
Oh
is
yeah,
gross.
there was this ride called the Caterpillar. It wasn't a ride; it was just a thing you crawled through, and it was all foamy. And I remember the first day, that guy, I forget his name, but he was kind of showing us the ropes, and he was like, "Kevvy, do you know what you do if someone pisses in there?" And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Nothing, because that thing absorbs it." And we were like, "Ew, I'm never going in there." Yeah,
Forgot about that.
yeah. Oh man, remember golf tent?
Oh yeah, I don't even know if you want to explain. 'Cause
I'm
there
gonna-
might be a
I'm gonna
child
ex-
somewhere that's like.
I'm going to
"That was
explain it.
me."
This is the craziest thing that ever happened. So this thing, you would come up, you'd give 2 tickets or something, and you'd hit a golf ball against this mesh net. The mesh net was in front of the place people sit to eat their lunch. All day long, these big 40-year-old guys would come and just like rock it against that net. It's fine. And it would tell you how fast you hit it. This like 15-year-old kid comes with his friend. He's like, I'm going to set the record today. And his friend's like, no, you aren't. And even I was like, you're not. Hits the ball. It rips through the net, hits a woman in the back, and she dropped her baby. And I was just like, you know what I did? Went home. I left everything there and I just went home.
See, the thing was, he wasn't supposed to be at the golf.
Nope.
That wasn't part of
I
Kid
was-
Zone. You just knew the people that worked there, and so I think a guy there was going on his break and said, "Kev, can you cover for me?" It wasn't even his zone.
Yeah.
How could he be in trouble for this?
Yeah, it was the most crazy, violent thing I've ever seen. Like, it was like, thwap, right in that woman's back. Baby drop. Like, it seems unrealistic. Swear to God it happened. And then the next day, it's funny how it's like, Larry David does a thing about how when he got a job once. No, it was on SNL. Larry David of Curb Your Enthusiasm got hired at Saturday Night Live, quit because he hated it, and then just showed back up on Monday like nothing happened. That's what I did. I just came back the next week and like didn't say anything, and no one said anything.
Yeah.
Like, I thought maybe the clubs would have gotten stolen. That was crazy.
That's insane.
What else happened there? That was like... Oh, I remember another good one. Remember the Joust? We always wanted to work on the Joust because it was like American Gladiators. It's like these 2 platforms and then an inflatable mattress. Big one is probably like this high.
Yeah.
And people would have these sticks and they'd fight on them.
Yeah.
And I remember...
We did that, didn't we?
Yeah, probably.
Of course you did. Super competitive.
Is Kid Zone still there?
Yeah, Alexi's like, let's
There
go.
last week.
I remember the one rule was no hitting in the face, and these brothers were having an argument. And they were like, let's settle this on the chest.
Oh my god.
First thing that happens, knocked his brother unconscious.
No.
So many times, like, medical professionals would have to come to the Kid Zone, like, all the time. Then my favorite thing was the last day. It's the last day, so you're deflating all the inflatable things, right? And so I remember I was talking to the guy who deflated the Joust, and we were standing there talking. I think you were with me. And so it now has no air in it, but it's kept its shape. And these kids came running, and we were like, uh-oh. And we were still kind of assholes, so we're like, let's just see what happens. Oh my God. These kids run and just fucking dive on cement because it had no air in it. So they're just like, wham, like one after another. And it's like,
Oh jeez.
Yeah.
I mean,
trying to think if there's anything else.
I think you glazed over the Euro Bungee too quick.
Okay, go on.
Euro Bungee, for those that don't know. Okay, so there's a button. We have 2 buttons on this controller. We all hold a controller. One raises the cables up and one raises them down. we figured out early on that if you raise them up while they're bouncing, you can start getting them to bounce higher and higher like an elastic thing.
Oh my God.
And so the reason there was a lineup for the Euro Bungee is because we were shooting kids 12 feet into the air.
Oh, that's right.
So hard that they're like reaching like maximum tension and flipping back on like uncontrollably because of us on the control. It's only meant to be jump. It's kid zone. It's not launch your kid into the stratosphere zone. But the height was so high that people could see it from anywhere. You'd see kids above the crowd because it was so many people. All you'd see is a sea of hair and then people launching above it in the Euro Bungee.
Oh my God.
And the one time our boss came in and saw what we were doing, he said, "Stop this right now," because it's not meant for that at all. And that was the day they're like, the Euro Bungee died because everyone's in line to see the cool Euro Bungee, and everyone from that point on just had to jump on their own power.
Yeah.
Not the same.
It's funny because I remember our friend Jason, he worked with us there, and the sun was in his eyes. Remember? So he was doing it, and then I remember he was like, "Hey man, I can't really see it. That kid hit his head on the cables," and you're like, "Yeah, pretty bad actually."
Oh no.
And then if they started going diagonal, they could fall into the cables that
Because there are
held the whole
these
thing up.
power line things at the top of it. I don't know why they were there, but sometimes people get tangled up, and you have to go climb, and it was really crazy. And then it was funny because there was one station of Euro Bungee for heavy people. You remember?
Yeah.
And this kid came in, and we'd have to be like, "How much do you weigh?" And it's on them if they tell the truth, because if they weigh over 200 pounds, they have to go on the special one.
Yeah.
And this kid came to you and was like, you're like, "How much do you weigh?" And he's like, 120 pounds. And you're like, "All right." And you essentially just gave him the harshest mechanical wedgie possible.
It might as well have been dental floss.
Yeah. He was just like, that was rough.
No.
Yeah, we had no mercy on anybody.
Well, that's the thing. If you guys are ever taking the young children to the amusement park or Playland or P&E, just know that the kids working there
Don't care.
Yeah, there's a new level of like just
Also, you'd be working for 10 hours and get a 15-minute break.
yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was always worried about that when I was going, but I was like, no, they're fine. They're probably certified to
know what
operate
they're
this
doing.
Yeah.
stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Cool with their sunglasses there, pressing buttons. Like,
Right.
they just know.
They know. They did schooling for this. They
There
must.
must be schooling, right?
They must. Did you work at so in high school we were theater kids, and I know a bunch of them went to work in the haunted houses.
Oh, okay.
Did you do that?
Yeah.
We didn't know anyone else that worked at Playland because we were in our own little thing. Like, we only knew the other guys that worked
Yeah.
there.
What?
Did you worked in the haunted houses?
Well, yeah, I worked at just in the theater there, but I was horrible at it because I kept just breaking character and laughing.
Too scary? Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Too
no.
good at it. Kids were crying.
It was like a weird. My friend designed it, and it was like this beauty shop gone bad, and so my face was fried, and I just had to sit in a chair and just cackle. But when you see your friends and they're just laughing at you and trying to make jokes,
Like, "Hey, Coral."
it's like, "Hey, what's up?" And it's like, oh. And we would have this way where kids would go through, but they didn't know because they would back up, and so they would hit all the screens and everything would fall every time, and I'm just sitting there cackling, and I'm just like,
You're like, "Ha, just doing my job."
just go this way,
It's all falling apart around us.
Did
Were
you
you
two?
in it?
No. No.
Did you two work together ever?
No, we went to camp together though with girl guides.
Yeah, we did girl guides together.
Kind of merit badges we talking?
I feel like we didn't I didn't do
Sewing.
any badges. I was so lazy.
Heck
about
yeah.
it.
Drawing.
You weren't the greatest of girls. You didn't want to be there.
No, I didn't want to be there.
No, all the girls would just kind of be like, oh, there's that girl with her boy shorts.
Stupid hair and my boy shorts and not wanting to be there and camping. And I remember there was this one camping trip that we went to and my tent leaked 3 times.
I was in that tent, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
So bad.
awful. And then we had that horrible leader, and you were scared she was gonna sit on you.
Yeah, so
Why is that a threat?
well, so I told, it was this
You know, that very common fear.
it was this larger lady, and she was really mean, I remember. And at that camping trip, I was talking to my dad about it. I was like, oh, she was awful. She was so mean to me. And then we were supposed to go on another camping trip later on.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, be careful because she might sit on you if you step out of line. And I'm
And
like,
you took that seriously? You're like,
I'm
that could happen?
I'm not going. I didn't go to the next one.
Terrified you. Okay.
Yeah.
forget it.
She stopped going after that. She's she's gonna take me out in the woods and sit on me.
So my dad told me it was gonna happen.
I just remembered something so good that you did in 8th grade, and it was so ballsy. You were so edgy, dude. So we were annoying in class, we know. There was this one teacher that really didn't like Matt, and so he kept it was a science teacher. You kept getting like mediocre to bad test grades, and so you're like, this is a conspiracy because that guy doesn't like me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy completely a test of someone who gets an A, and we'll see what happens. And you did it, and he still gave you a C-, and you're like, hey, I knew it, and you confronted the fuck out of him. You're like, you don't like me, and this is the proof, and I'm telling everybody about it. And your mom got involved, and I was like, holy shit.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Smart kid. Like,
Well,
He was ballsy, man.
You guys ever see the show Mr. D? You know, the Canadian show.
Yeah,
It's kind of like the Canadian version of The Office, only instead of a teacher or a office worker, he's a teacher. That's exactly real life, because this guy, you can tell now, like once I saw Mr. D, I'm like, I know what teachers do now. They go on autopilot, where it's like, we got the curriculum, and it's like, just go through the motions. So once a kid starts getting enough bad grades, you're like, it's probably a C. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. And so when I confronted him,
Yeah, that makes sense.
when I confronted him, he's like, oh, well then this was the bad part. He's like, oh, then that other kid must have got a C. Like,
That's not how that works.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
didn't work out well, but
Yeah, you screwed Tony over probably.
it was Kyle. Actually. The thing was, I was allowed to do a retest for some reason, so I took his test exactly and copied it like verbatim.
Oh man, yeah, we had it rough. Like, I just remember in high school, I was so like sad just because I felt like such a failure all the time. You know, like I just couldn't care. Like it's funny. I saw this interview with Quentin Tarantino, and he's like, when I was in high school, and to this day, if it's not something I like, I can't pay attention to it.
Yeah.
And that is exactly my problem then, and exactly my problem now. Because we do all this comedy stuff, and occasionally we'll get these like lengthy emails, and I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
I still
Who wants
can't.
to
It's
read
just.
that? Like-
I'll just skim it and see if my name's in there. No, just like a version of that though, and it's like it's still sort of hard. Like I have this ADD thing with like that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Same here, honestly. Yeah, I mean, like, I think the only thing in high school that I really enjoyed, because I was kind of sad like that too, is the acting stuff that we used to do.
Yeah, no, it was really good.
We were like big
Yeah.
into acting, and we do all these plays and everything, and like, oh yeah.
Yeah, no, it was fun. Like, we had these teachers who were like really passionate about it. Would be there like every day at like 6 a.m, set everything up. Like we designed like the sets and everything too for the plays. Like our theater actually made money for the school.
Yeah.
That's how good they were.
It was like such an immersive sort of thing, but that was like the only thing I liked about high school.
No, I would only go to that. Yeah, otherwise like math sucked, like anything else.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember when we made Miss cry that one time?
Oh, Miss.
Our homeroom teacher in the
Homeroom. Jeez, the homeroom teacher.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what you did, Miss, but you clearly deserved it.
Yeah.
She was just like on another level. Like she would always, it was like well known, she would leave the classroom crying. Like she would take.
I like that you
little
guys are naming
tissues.
names and we didn't.
I guess I could always take that out and post.
Beep
Yeah,
it like
there
on
you
Kill
go.
Bill. Yeah. Because of the Tarantino reference.
Oh, true. Yes. Okay. It's gonna be beeps.
We didn't even do anything that bad. Like you just like left the classroom because you forgot your pencil case, and then she's like, "I didn't know where you went." Like blah blah blah.
No, that wasn't even me though. It was this other girl that we were in school with. I remember every time it was same day as that.
Yeah.
But every time this teacher would turn around, this girl would go and like pick up a stool, like she was gonna go like, but she was just like she was just joking, right?
Oh,
she was
yeah.
just like, and it was just like that one motion that everyone saw her. Like as soon as she turned her back, she'd be like.
Oh man.
And then at one point she like was trying to pick it up off the ground a little bit, and the teacher suddenly like turned around and saw, and she's just like, and like picked up her stuff and like left the room crying.
Oh man. I just remembered something so good from your Science 9 class, because you sat with our friend Kyle, and Kyle and that science teacher had this beef where they were always at each other. And this one time you guys were sitting there and I saw you guys, and I was walking by the hall, and I just walked by and threw something in the class, and then he blamed Kyle.
Yeah.
Remember, it was like, someone was like, "What was that?" And then that teacher was like, "Don't worry, it was just Kyle." It was the one time Kyle was actually doing his work and I got him in trouble. I also remember you would like have it out with the duty teachers sometimes. Like I remember we were for some reason I think you were doing like a Cornholio impression where you had your shirt above your head, and the duty teacher came over and was like, "Matt, you can't do that." And you're like, "Whatever, look at that girl." And there was a girl hanging upside down on monkey bars, and you're like, her shirt's gonna fall up, and then it did, so she couldn't really argue with you. It was like the most perfect timing to like argue with her. It was weird. It was like you always beat the teachers in an argument in a weird way.
Yeah. I still don't feel good about it.
I know you don't, but it's a talent that you have.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I remember I used to have a lot of issues with the duty because I was always making out with my ex.
Well, there's that one time you
So
were, like,
maybe
in your bathing suit too, I think, in school, and
Oh,
you had
'cause
to be told to put on clothes.
Because me and her older sister were tanning out in the backfield, and we came in to grab something, and they're like, "You can't wear your bathing suit inside." We're like, "Who said?"
Oh man.
You can't do that. I was in the wrong. It was totally wrong.
Unless it was swimming class. You're like, I grew up on a boat. Okay, this is all I know.
This is my natural state.
Oh, okay.
Right?
I wanted so badly to transfer to Killarney because they had a pool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It was
That
just me
is
living
cool.
on my-
Yeah, like we went to the irony of me being good at drawing and then getting accepted to an art school, and then as soon as I get there, I get super into NBA basketball. I want to play professional, and there's no sports. It's like, thanks.
You were the best
Great.
kid in school, though.
I was so into it. I
Here's a
loved
funny
it.
story. I remember you and your at the time girlfriend playing a game of horse.
Oh, here we go.
And I thought, he was clearly, in my opinion, the best basketball player in the school because he took it very seriously. He went to basketball camp once and broke his arm, but that's another story.
Thank you for remembering that.
So he's playing his girlfriend in basketball, and I just thought the play was, you don't stuff her, you don't completely annihilate her, but Kev proceeded to just annihilate her. It was a competition for him at that point.
Yeah, I was like Kevin Garnett. No easy baskets.
Yeah.
Boxed her out.
You got some respect there. Like, that's a play right there. I just thought you were supposed to go easy. Hell no.
Yeah, it's funny because the school we went to, no other schools respected it.
Yeah.
Like it was like I remember there was a play at our school about how it was embarrassing to go there.
Oh my God.
I remember it was written by students, and these guys were like, they just met and they were getting along, and then one guy, like the punchline of the play was like, I go to fine arts, and then everyone was like, yeah.
Dude, on similar, when I first started going to Walnut Grove, when we changed high school, I changed after grade 11. Kev came to the same school in grade 12, so there was a year where he was still at Fine Arts and I was at Walnut Grove. And I remember the first day I was in social studies class, and they said, like, oh, you're new, where'd you come from? And I had to say, like, oh, and I was already embarrassed to say I came from Fine Arts. And I remember hearing after I said that, someone in the back room said, you're dead.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Jeez.
No, that school was
my
rough.
God.
It was rough. I remember because my birthday is April 20th, which is the Columbine Massacre. So there was rumor I was going to kill everyone because I didn't really have any friends there because I was new. And I was pretty gothy at that
We
time.
hang out with the goths.
Yeah. Like
The goths and the punks.
Yeah. Like and then so just like no one liked us really. And there was like people who would come in and out of the group, which were like snowboarder guys. But we were like the new guys, and I was definitely in my goth phase. And so there was that rumor about me, and I was like, I'm the one getting abused daily by these people. They started a rumor about me, and then the cops came and talked to me on my birthday.
No way.
Yeah, it was rough.
That's such a conspiracy theory.
I know.
Wow.
They were really against me.
They really put it all together.
Yeah.
So I feel like we need to discuss something.
Okay.
And we kind of mentioned it at the beginning.
Okay, Coral.
But I'm going to give Coral the opportunity to clear her
All
name
right.
because I've really dragged her name through the mud,
Yeah.
through the dirt, and I'm glad you're here.
Yeah. I need to redeem myself.
Well, Matt doesn't know what was said.
Yeah, do tell.
So over the course of, several episodes of the podcast, I've, mentioned that Coral's broken my tailbone or fractured my tailbone in the 8th grade.
With a kick.
With a kick.
Oh my.
It's a swift one.
A swift kick. Do you want to tell the story?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the worst thing ever, but like when we were in 8th grade, obviously, like we'd just, kick each other like jokingly.
Just kick each other in the butt. Like,
Yeah, kick each other in the butt, or just, and so she was just standing there in the gym, and I'm like, oh, this is great. Like, her back's to me, like, I'm gonna get her.
I'm
And
on one
so,
side of the gym, I'm on the other.
yeah, so I run, and then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna kick her, and then I miss her butt entirely and kick her back, and I'm just like, oh shit, and then she just was like, and I'm like, it's not that bad.
Oh, I thought you
You're
meant.
fine.
Oh, I thought it was like your game was like time to kick some pussy.
Just straight up
Just
like
a little
gas
inside
pedal,
game we
like-
have.
Is that what public school is like?
No, I just remember you coming back and being like, like you fractured my tailbone, and I was like, no, that wasn't me. I
was like so
It wasn't me. It was one of the other kids.
Sure, it hurt so bad, and it took so long, where it just hurt for a little while here and there, and it progressively got worse until like one morning. It was like months later. I couldn't walk. And I had to like crawl up the stairs, and I'm like, what is happening? And my mom took me to the doctor, and we got an x-ray done, and they're like, yeah, you fractured your tailbone a few months back.
How do you even fix that?
You don't.
There's no cast for that, right?
No.
It's just
so
floating
bad.
around in there now?
I made her feel so bad, but it wasn't her fault because we used to do that all the time.
It made you sound like such a dick, and you kicked me.
I know. We used to kick each other. It's not even
Wait,
bad luck.
So did you ever get revenge on Coral?
Did I? I guess it's just me dragging your name through.
Yeah, you're
the
still
mud on
getting
these
okay.
podcasts.
Currently getting
Not
revenge.
physical revenge.
There
but-
was the catfish.
Oh.
So this one time she catfished me
Yeah, I
online.
did.
Well,
Yeah.
she got like this photo from Photo Bucket or something of this like blonde guy, and like named him like Anthony Zerb. I think.
That's a handsome name.
That's a great
Yeah.
fake name.
Yeah. And like added everyone in the school. And, like,
Alexi,
everyone
holy
is,
shit.
like,
Wow.
Who's this guy? Like,
You're so
does
thorough
anyone
with your
know?
deviosity. That's not a word.
I don't know why.
I don't. You like would talk to people. Like you talk to me and being like, "Hey, you want to go out with me?" And I was like,
That's what you'd say?
Yeah.
Hey, you want to be my girlfriend?
But I have to say, because it makes me sound really creepy, but like my plan was always to reveal myself afterwards and be like, ha!
That's cruel.
You were too
Alexi.
deep at that point, though, right?
Yeah.
You can't reveal it.
I got pretty deep, but I did tell her eventually, and then she was like,
I was not pleased. Yeah, she comes to school and she's like, "He knows where you live." And I'm like,
What were you doing? Why'd you do that?
I don't know. I really don't know. I wouldn't do that now. It's just
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah, you've become
like-
so kind.
I sat in my room, like looking out my window, like hoping he wasn't there. Like when cars would pass, I'd be like, "Oh my god!" Like,
I'm so
he's
sorry.
There's got to be a different word. That's not a catfish. That's like just a scary stalker that you invented.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, there's like no romance. It's just like, this guy's gonna kill you.
Yeah.
You're like, Alexi, this is how catfishing works.
No.
She did it wrong.
Yeah.
I thought it was flirting. Come on.
I asked you out, right? Like,
So
That's not catfishing, that's like great white sharking.
yeah, no, it's true. I'm sorry.
it's all good.
Oh, I love
We're
this.
We're past
It's
it.
nice.
That's nice.
That's
That's why we're all here. Let's call this episode I'm Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Coral. I'm sorry for the butt kick, but you know what? You can't finish me, or we're even.
Oh man. This description for this podcast, I usually write it out and I'm searching through. I'm gonna have no shortage of material.
Yeah.
I actually don't feel as bad about my childhood anymore.
I know. We
feel
started
great.
off looking really bad, and now look, like,
It's just
Coral
me.
was trying to like ruin. No, Alexi was trying to ruin Coral's psyche at a certain point with an online stalker. This is great. This is great. Just disturb her.
Oh, speaking of fake online personas, do
Uh-oh.
you recall after 90210 every Wednesday, we would go into the 90210 Yahoo chat as what was it? Skippy 696969
Yeah.
and Jizzy 8000.
Yep.
Oh my god.
And we
And-
just fuck with everyone.
First
Oh
of
my
all,
God.
we pretend we were fans of the show
Jesus.
and slowly just turn the chat into a cesspool of
Yeah.
degeneration.
Yeah. It was pretty
Degeneracy.
immature. It was like I think it was like we were just stoked we had the internet.
Yeah.
And it was like you would have to be like, I'm gonna be bad right now, so I'm just gonna make sure my mom doesn't see the disgusting things I'm writing. She doesn't even know I know about this stuff. So, yeah, I remember that one time it was like because you got really into kind of like almost the scary part of the internet because of gaming stuff. I think, like I remember you were like, this guy just told me about this website just has people's credit card numbers on it,
Oh,
and
yeah.
your sister was like, "See you in prison" as she walked by.
Yeah.
And we were like, are we those kind of people? No, we're not those kind of people.
I don't know how it's too complicated. For the best.
Yeah. We also went to our first concert together. Or no, you had already been to one, but it was Warped Tour.
Oh, dude, great.
Yeah, and it was funny because Cypress Hill was supposed to be there, but Eminem replaced him, and no one knew who he was, and everyone booed him.
Oh my god.
So we saw that. It was like his first time in Vancouver.
Will y'all quit booing me? That's what he said.
Yeah, and everyone there got a free cup of water with a lemon slice. So he was just getting obliterated with lemons.
It was half a lemon. They were cutting like half lemons.
And like that guy from D12 who's now dead, Proof, was his hype man, and I remember seeing him get hit several times in the face with lemons.
Oh, no.
That was rough. And then he never would come back to Vancouver because of that.
Was that because Cypress Hill was on there? I always thought it was because it was a punk concert tour, and that was like the very moment where they're like, could we like...
Well, if you remember, because Cypress Hill backed out last second, so he replaced them. But Black Eyed Peas were on it too, but it was before Fergie was in there.
Way before.
And they went over well.
Oh, okay.
And they're like breakdancing and stuff. And
Before Fergie?
yeah, Fergie was added like 3 albums in as like for like pop choruses, but they used to be like this really cool like skateboarder like
they
back.
actually seemed edgy.
Yeah, they were awesome.
Yeah.
I loved because they had a song on the Bulwer soundtrack, and I was like, this is awesome. So I was stoked. But you know what's funny though is that this was the height of Blink-182, and our friend Kyle, the guy that got blamed for me throwing that pen in that class, he was Mr. Local punk rock guy. So, and he was the only one of us with a job. I think we were all like 15 or something. And so he worked in a soup kitchen or something. So his goal was he was going to bring an empty backpack and just buy as many local band CDs as possible. So he did that, and then he was walking past Blink-182 mosh pit, and they pulled him in, beat his ass, and stole all his stuff. And so I remember we were all like, fuck Blink-182.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, dude. I forgot about that.
Because we blamed the fan base. We're like, that's the kind of fans they have that would do that. And we were like into like suicidal tendencies and stuff.
Yeah.
We were super into suicidal
The
tendencies.
day we got back from that concert, we're like, I'm going to buy the first Suicidal Tendencies album I can buy at the mall. And it was like the one from 1989.
Yeah.
So we sat there listening to that, playing video games.
Yeah.
Is this good? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but then it's funny because you saw it and you liked it, so your taste went to it.
Yeah.
At first, we were like, I don't know, this doesn't really sound like Pantera or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you eventually were like, no, it's actually pretty sick. And then I remember you learned to play some of it on guitar, and you taught me, and that was like the beginning of me starting to play music. Was
Dude, I
really
remember the first song you learned on guitar was that Silverchair song.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember the name of the
song. It
song.
was 3 chords. It was like
drop D.
Yeah, it was like I didn't realize it could be that easy to sound good. You know what I mean? Because you were my first friend to get a guitar, and then it was like, oh, this is like so cool. You know, it was like such a special thing.
Yeah, no, it was because no one taught us how to do it. So it was funny. There was that whole thing. Like, I don't know if your parents were the same way, or even you guys, but like my parents were basically like hands off for my childhood. And thank goodness nothing bad happened to me, because like something bad could have happened, and then I would have just derailed. But
like luckily, your tastes were just video games. And
like I was like, if he's down there playing video games, he's fine. But like I could have been down there
so not
doing
you.
drugs.
But that was you though, right?
Yeah, that was me.
That was Coral, for
Her
sure.
parents had to keep her inside. Like, there is no, you shouldn't let her out.
I was not allowed out of my yard until I was 14 by myself.
Well, I remember because I was blown away when we were in 8th grade, and Matt didn't have a bedtime, and I was like, what? Like, my mom will just tell me to go to bed at 10, like, go to bed. And you just could go to bed whenever you wanted. I couldn't believe that. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
You can watch Conan O'Brien like every night?
It's the best. I always remember like going to Coral's house and like I was just like, now we can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
Well, not whatever, but
Ooh, yeah, Capri Suns.
my mom, my parents would never buy Capri Suns.
Same.
But she always had them.
Yeah.
You always had them. It was great.
My-
It's like, this is like a vacation.
My parents, like my mom, like they were such health freaks that we never had anything good.
Same.
So I would go over the top when we'd hang out. Like we go to Mac's and just like go for it and just get the like worst food.
Yeah.
But it was such a special treat if we could like have a Coke or something like that. Remember when we got super into drinking Coca-Cola and like Kyle drank so much he got an ulcer? We were like obsessed with it. Like we were like we try and like drink as much as we could.
That was when they had a Under the Cap promotion that was like
yeah.
1 in 6 win.
Oh, yeah, we
And it
just
was
kept
legit.
winning.
Yeah, you just kept winning. I'll have another Coke.
I got like stuck in a daisy chain of that because I would go and get a free Coke and then I'd open it up and then I'd win another one, and there was like I was on like a 7 Pepsi. It was Pepsi for that one. 7 Pepsi winning streak.
7?
It
That's
was
the most
crazy.
I've ever heard.
I couldn't believe it. I was fully convinced it was like under every cap because I was like, I keep winning.
I keep getting Pepsi.
But it was only when I was wearing my New York Yankees
Your
toque.
lucky hat.
Yeah.
I was like, it's a lucky toque, and then I didn't wear it, and I went and got it, and I didn't win.
Oh, well, it must have been it.
Insane.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I think we could just keep going. There's so much.
I mean, I feel like we should do
So
another
much.
one,
Yeah,
but we should think about it next time because this was great.
Yeah, this is great.
This was great. I can't think of anything else right now, but I know as soon as we go for pizza, we're gonna be like, oh yeah.
100%. We have a
So we should do another one
Yeah.
at some point.
I'm super down.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay. Well, thank you both for
on board.
coming. We've been wanting to do this for a long time.
Thank you for having
Thank you.
us.
Yeah.
Of course.
Of course. Matt has a YouTube channel where he plays video games, he plays old games, and he does like synth tutorials and stuff, right?
Yeah.
What's the channel?
If you guys type in Matt Creamer Audio, it'll probably come up.
And he's a really well-known, respected chiptune creator, which is like 8-bit video game music.
Yeah.
Norrin Rad.
Yeah, started that. I remember, I mean, even this is a stupid story. It was so long ago that it wasn't cool, and I used to try and impress girls with it. Yeah. And send them this on MSN Messenger, like, hey, chiptunes are cool, right? Do you have the one with guitar or something?
Yeah.
No, I don't. Oh, damn it. Now it's cool, but now it's so cool that like I can't be a part of that scene.
Yeah, you're over it. You're over it.
You were there before it was cool.
Yeah. So check that out. He's really funny on. It's kind of like Twitch what you do, right?
Yeah, I try to do Twitch with a little, like, people who do a lot of streaming, it's kind of like, oh, I'm playing a game and it's like casual. It's like I try to make it a show.
Yeah,
but,
he
like,
adds
I
production value.
don't know what I'm doing though,
I like
so it's
that.
like it feels strange.
Yeah. What are some of the games that you worked on?
Retro City Rampage was the biggest
Right, that's
one
like
I
a
probably
classic.
did.
Yeah.
That was like there's so many stupid stories. They contacted me on MySpace. Like, hey, you want to work on this game? Like, and I'm like, is this a scam?
Yeah.
No one contacts people on MySpace.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. But like, I should probably investigate. And then it was like, oh, okay, I'll make music for this game. It was a local developer, and he made a Nintendo game in 2000s. You know, like a modern Nintendo game.
Yeah. And it's like a classic. Like it's really respected online. Like friends of mine who don't know him have talked about him and been like, this guy Norrin Rad, he's like this chipped. I'm like, yeah.
That's the problem. Don't ever do an internet handle because then it follows you everywhere. I want to be known as Matt
Exactly.
Creamer now, but everyone knows me as Norrin Rad. Like,
Oh, man.
I have to do both. I have to be Norrin Rad with in association with Matt Creamer Audio.
I mean, I understand you think I like being Kevvy. I do actually
Do you
like
remember, that one goes back. I'll wrap it up here. I remember you wanted to do Kevvy with a crayon. That was the original.
Oh
That
yeah.
was the original thing.
With the backwards Y.
It was gonna be Kevvy with a crayon, and that goes way
Oh,
back
Kevvy
too.
with a crayon all one.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, that's different.
It's been there.
I like
It's been
that.
there. Yeah. Coral, what can we plug for you?
Oh, I serve. I can bring you food.
She's great.
Maybe some drinks.
She's great.
Do you want to say we serve at or no?
No.
No. Okay,
Not at the
good.
moment,
No stalkers. No more stalkers.
You might see me around.
Check out. It's
Anthony Zerb contacts.
a great place to wrap it up. Bye. Thank you.
Bye. She stole fucking 2 things of Ruffles, motherfucker.